Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Whitney Ward. Well, it was 3 days after a deadly plane crash off of Whidbey Island. We are hearing now from the NTSB. Tonight, we know the answers to exactly what went wrong, but we also know that is a long ways off. Today, the search for the bodies of 9 victims in that deadly float plane crash continues. Just within the last hour, we have learned the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife will no longer be searching for the float plane that crashed. The NTSB says WDFW's equipment cannot search that big of an area, which is what is needed because the water in that area is between 100 and 300 feet deep. The NTSB is now working with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to use their advanced equipment to search. They know it was flying from Friday Harbor to Renton when it suddenly crashed into the water just off of Whidbey Island. A spokesperson for the NTSB now says the investigation could take anywhere from 18 to 24 months, depending on how long it takes to recover that wreckage. The agency says there is some indication that the plane took a nosedive. They say finding the plane is proving to be a challenge.
Locating the wreckage will be very important. We don't know the cause of the accident at this point. It could be related to a system failure or mechanical failure or some other factor.
So at this point, the NTSB is estimating the wreckage is currently at a depth, again, as we said, of 100 to 300 feet. Right now, they're not certain exactly how long it will take. They say they haven't located the plane yet, but they did reiterate multiple times they believe the plane will eventually be found. And today, flags all across Spokane were lowered to half-staff in honor of one of those crash victims. The NTSB confirmed yesterday Spokane civil rights activist Sandy Williams was on board that plane. Her partner, Patricia Hicks, also was on the plane. Coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 4:30, we'll be hearing from Williams' family about their loss. And this tragedy will match the second biggest air disaster in Washington state history. That one happened back in 2007. 10 people died at White Pass, which is right near Yakima, returning from a skydiving trip. All 10 of those victims were eventually recovered. The other notable air disaster in the Northwest was the 2020 seaplane collision over Lake Coeur d'Alene. That was on the 4th of July weekend. 8 people were killed then. The NTSB actually just released its report on that crash last week, and they found mechanical issues did not play a role. Instead, both pilots simply failed to see each other in time to avoid a collision. And KREM 2 is always working to bring you the latest information on this recovery effort, as well as the victims in that crash. For the latest updates, remember, you can just text the word crash to 509-448-2000, and we'll send that link right to your phone. In other news tonight, less than 24 hours after the doors of the Trent homeless shelter opened, the Spokane mayor, Nadine Woodward, says the city will resume enforcement of a sit-lie ordinance. That means that police officers will now be able to ticket someone for sitting or lying on nearly every downtown sidewalk during most hours. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk just sat down one-on-one with the Spokane mayor to learn more about how this is going to be enforced. So Kyle, what have you learned?
Well, Whitney, up until now, Spokane police officers have not been able to enforce this law because there just weren't enough shelter beds available. Now, officers can write someone a misdemeanor ticket if they are sitting or lying downtown between 6 a.m. and midnight. Now, this ordinance only applies to the area between Maple Street to Division and I-90 to Spokane Falls Boulevard. The mayor says this is the first step to making sure downtown remains a safe and healthy place for everyone.
One of the first things that will happen is if somebody is cited for sit and lie, they will be referred to community court, a program that's been in Spokane for a number of years. That's another way that we can connect people to services, whatever those services are that they need to help them exit this life of homelessness.
So if people don't show up to their court date, they'll have a warrant issued for their arrest. The ordinance does not apply to the homeless camp near I-90 in Freya, which has grown to more than 600 campers. The city says about 15 people there have moved out of the camp and into the Trent shelter so far. Now on Monday, the City Council will consider an update to the city's illegal camping ordinance, which is separate from the sit and lie ordinance. Council members could prohibit camping within 50 feet of any railroad viaduct or 3 blocks within a shelter, among other things. Now we just reached out to Spokane Police to see if they're really just prepared to enforce these laws. That's coming up at 5. Whitney.
All right, thank you very much, Kyle. And there is a red flag warning in place this afternoon, which means increased fire danger all across the region. Our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legou, is outside right now in the Outdoor Weather Center tracking those conditions for us. Jeremy, how long do we really need to be concerned?
Through the remainder of the day, Whitney, and I really don't think we should let our guard down the next couple of days. Basically, this one is on us. There's no chance of lightning, and with dry, windy conditions and a whole lot of vegetation that's ready to burn, it's all on us. No sparks. That's the name of the game today. Wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour, and that warm weather and dry atmosphere is what's exacerbating these fire conditions. And it is hot. I am roasting out here, and in central parts of Washington, the dry ground is adding to it. We've got blowing dust advisories in Davenport and Waterville along Highway 2, and then Ritzville along 395. That's where you're going to encounter most of the chances of some of that dust. We'll keep an eye on it, none yet, but that doesn't mean we're in the clear. That's in effect through 8 p.m. Air quality right now sits at moderate. You're probably feeling it a little bit. It's just one of those ones where mouth feels kind of dry, nose feels kind of stuffy, and that's kind of where we're stuck as all that smoke moves around the region. So right now, a lot of it just blowing west to east out of where it originates. But as we move through the remainder of the day, we'll likely get a little, because after the front goes through, we're going to pull in some wind from the north, and that means some of that smoke off in Canada will sweep the region, so expect air quality to diminish a little later. Overnight, fall back down to near 50, so a little cooler than this morning. And tomorrow afternoon, how about this one for you? Temperatures top out in the 70s. A high of just 79 in Spokane.
My goodness. All right, Jeremy, thank you. All right, looks like perfect weather for the Spokane County Interstate Fair, which kicks off this Friday. Over the next few days, vendors and crews will be setting up all those booths and rides. And now, before the gates open, we want to help you prepare for your visit. So KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is joining us now live from the fairgrounds to share some of the best routes around the construction to get into the fair, plus deals on tickets. Hi, Amanda.
Yeah, good evening, Whitney. Let's get right to the deals real quick, because that's the time-sensitive part about the fair. So today and tomorrow will be your only chances to get discounted tickets into the Spokane Interstate Fair. Now, typically adults are paying about $13 for admittance. Today and tomorrow you can buy those tickets for $8. Senior, youth, and military can get their tickets for $6. They can be purchased at this booth right outside the fairgrounds. Now, these tickets, again, are only available today and tomorrow, and after that, Friday is when they go back to regular price. Now, the next thing you'll want to keep in mind is how you're going to get to the fair. Now, keep in mind, construction at Thor and Freya is still underway, and the eastbound Freya exit on I-90 is still closed. So consider taking Altamont, Sprague, or Broadway to get to the fair. Another alternative returning this year is the STA's Fair Shuttle. You can shuttle to the fair daily from the Spokane Community College starting at 8 a.m. through 10:30 p.m.
It's $2 round trip. If you show your shuttle pass when you get to our admission gate, we're going to give you a discount on your fair admission that day.
Now, fair organizers say parking will fill up pretty quickly here at the Spokane County Fairgrounds, and it's $5 to park at the fairgrounds. But if you're trying to avoid big crowds, consider bringing your family during the week. Weekdays, gates open at 11 a.m. Now, if this is your first time at the Spokane County Interstate Fairgrounds, fair organizers say you're in for a treat. Once you get here, it's easy to navigate, so you can just eat and play your way through the fair. Reporting from the fairgrounds, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Always a fun time, Amanda. Thank you very much. However, there is one big change at the fair this year. The poultry show has been canceled because of a national bird flu outbreak. The fair announced there will be no chickens, turkeys, geese, or any other birds on display. And of course, that's just to prevent the spread of that virus. The Puyallup Fair and the Yakima fairs have also made similar changes to prevent any additional breakouts. So instead this year, kids can participate in a cage decorating contest. They can also bring in photos of their birds for market sales. Well, as our region continues to grow, the need for doctors will only increase. And today, a new building to teach and train new doctors hosted its grand opening. More than 300 students, faculty, and community leaders all came together to celebrate the grand opening of the new Gonzaga UW Medical School building on GU's campus. So the medical school is a health partnership between the Gonzaga and University of Washington. Students there have already been using this 90,000 square foot building. They've been there since mid-July. They say it's just a better environment to learn in.
I'm so excited to be in the new building. Our classes start in about 2 weeks for second years. We're excited to start in the new anatomy lab, also the new facilities. I've had some chances to be inside the rooms. Great study spaces, great technological advancements as well.
Sounds pretty great. Gonzaga is the first private university now to join the University of Washington School of Medicine as a full partner. The program on Gonzaga's campus allows 60 qualified students to be admitted each and every year. The building also has space for more than 500 Gonzaga undergraduates in nursing and health sciences. Some of the new features include an anatomy suite, as he just mentioned, state-of-the-art classrooms, and an outdoor patio space. Well, tonight is your chance to sound off on Avista's proposed rate hikes, which could have you paying more to heat your house or apartment this winter. Avista has asked regulators in Washington and Idaho to charge the average homeowner $9 more if they use a natural gas furnace. According to Avista, this proposed increase would cover the higher wholesale costs that the company is now incurring. Avista is holding a public comment period tonight at 6 o'clock. That Zoom link is on our website, and the rates for the electric customers will stay about the same. New overnight, the Coeur d'Alene City Council has unanimously approved a new contract to pay the city's firefighters more. That contract includes a one-time $5,000 payment to each person who is represented by the union and a 6% increase in wages in year one. Comedian Bert Kreischer is finally performing in Spokane tonight. He was initially going to perform all the way back in May at the First Interstate Center for the Arts, but because of some mechanical failures of the stage, he wasn't able to have the show. But he's now back and ready to make Spokane laugh.